He's an LGBTQ plus business leader and advocate and is the first openly gay member of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Bill Rossi joins us to tackle an issue that's been sweeping the nation: queer representation in media. We've seen an uptick in controversy surrounding representation with large corporations like Target, for example. Well, today Bill is weighing in on all of that and more. This is Advocate Now. Well, Bill, we've seen some corporations receive backlash in recent months when it comes to LGBTQ plus representation. For example, Target's Pride merchandise being pulled, consumers protesting Bud Light after partnering with a trans influencer. What do you think is the first step in shifting the response that we're seeing?
So I think the first step is people sitting down and actually talking to each other and having a conversation about what is occurring right now, because all I see from my perspective is a very big divide. And I am one of those people. I talk to a lot of different people. I'm very open-minded. I look at there's three sides to every story. There's your side, their side, and the truth is somewhere in the middle, but everybody's got an opinion on things. But I try to, in everything I do, I try to lead with kindness. So when I've seen some of these examples and I've been educating myself and reading up on a lot of the things that are going on in the country with corporations, the fact that what happened in Target, for example, of the woman coming in and with scissors and cutting her Target card up. First of all, that's not rational behavior, right? Like the fact that you walked into a store with scissors, I'd be calling the police on you, right? Like you're a threat. So why these things are even happening in the first place is again, I think the people that are doing this are creating such a spectacle. But, when it comes to corporations, it seems like they back down on some of these things, which I don't agree with necessarily. And again, it's just two sides. And if the two viewpoints actually could have a conversation together to understand, because what I've learned in talking to people from the very far right is they feel that what's happening now is things are getting shoved in their face. That is their viewpoint.
And in terms of LGBTQ plus representation in advertising and media, it is slowly improving. Do you think that progress is sometimes misguided, though?
Yes, it's improving. I do agree with you there. I love when I watch things and I see more and more diversity, not just LGBT, anything, right? Interracial couples, anything that is just not the quote unquote norm. And so I really like to see that. And I do feel that things have gotten scaled back a little bit as of recent because of all of the things. I feel like a much bigger divide is being created right now in our country. And there's some companies, if you think about it, 10 years ago, for example, there's WBEs, MBEs, women-owned business, minority-owned business, and the LGBT-owned business, right? So a number of my businesses are NGLCC certified. So that's an LGBT owned and operated business that's certified with the NGLCC out of Washington, D.C. 10 years ago, you never led with that diversity certification. You just didn't, right? Because people wanted to do business with you because you were good at what you did. But what's happened over the past few years now is people are leading with those. I am a WBE, I am an MBA, or I am an LGBT business, because that divide has been created over the last year. So now people are leading with that more, when 10 years ago it was frowned upon. You don't want to do business with someone just because they're gay. But now people have to put that out there, because you have people on the opposite side saying, I don't want to service you, right? I don't want to cut your hair because you're LGBT, or I don't want to make you a cake because you're a gay couple. So I think a lot of things have been lost over the past few years, and I do feel it's going in the wrong direction rather than the right direction. I think more of a divide is being created.
As an LGBTQ plus leader and advocate, I mean, you faced your own challenges along the way. Was there a particular instance or encounter that inspired you to lend your voice to support others?
There was. It's actually, I am a very private person. and I was always a very private person. And I ended up getting nominated with one of the top business magazines in Chicago, Crain's Chicago Business. And I was nominated for LGBT Executive of the Year. And so every year they put out notable LGBT executives. They have a lot of lists, right? Top 100, best places to work, et cetera. Well, I got that 3 years in a row from Crain's. And a side story at the same time, a woman who has a personal branding company kind of overheard my story. And again, I never was somebody to post on social media, and I never, I just never put my life out there. I just always kept it very private. I live in a red state and a very Republican state. I have my own biological kids. I lead a very traditional lifestyle, things that you wouldn't think that somebody that's LGBT would do. And I kind of go against the grain and just I live my life. And so there was a young person who their parent reached out to me because they're Italian, same church. And she had said, I think my son is gay and I want you to talk to him. Well, again, like I mentioned earlier, I have a lot of businesses. I'm very busy. I work, our entrepreneurs, we work all the time, right? So I was always busy. And this young man is a teenager, he's 16, kept wanting to talk to me. And I kept pushing off the meeting. And the mom was really pushing for me to try to. Long story short, this boy was gay and he ended up killing himself. And so I'm always going to live with the fact that I was too busy to take time out of, an hour out of my day to go talk to him, to let him know, it's okay to be gay. You can have a normal life. And that's always going to be there. And that was the catalyst that changed me to decide that I have a voice. I can create my platform to try to make a difference. And I will tell you, when I first started my brand, I don't have a ton of social media followers, but I have about 12,000, which is it's not a lot, but it's not a little either. And it's growing. But within the first 5 months of me starting my personal brand and talking about just my experiences, the things, I'm the first openly LGBT person, openly is keyword, on the United States Chamber of Commerce Small Business Council. So I'm just making headway in the world, like just making change, right? And I just feel like in that first 5 months, I had 5 people from different places in the world, 2 from South America, 2 from Europe, 1 from the US, that all read my blogs, read my stories, and had shared with me in private messages that they were thinking about committing suicide for because they're LGBT and their religion said they couldn't be. And they read my stories and saw I can have my own kids. I can have a long-term relationship. I can live. And so I started seeing that difference being made. And those are 5 people that told me that they had thought about killing themselves and they decided not to because of reading my story. So those things are what led me to continue to persevere and tell my story and speak out and be an activist for the LGBT community.
And it's so incredible that you're doing your part, but how can friends, family members, and allies of the LGBTQ plus community, provide inspiration or support to those they love and care about?
Be kind. And if you lead with kindness and you can sit down and then you can have a conversation, because the world is a big place. Everybody's got different opinions. Some people are uneducated about things. Like I always tell somebody, if they're straight, if you're straight and I'm gay, how can you speak on anything gay when you're not gay? You don't know what I've gone through. And just like I'm not straight, so like I can't speak on some of the things that you can speak on. So I think it's just really everything always boils down to communication.
So simple, but so powerful at the same time. Bill, thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you for having me.
I'm Sonia Baghdadi. Thanks for watching and advocating. For more stories and content like this, visit advocate.com and advocatechannel.com.